Sergio Studios. Extra.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Sergio Dominguez. In this video, I'm going to give you a nice look through my early artwork of the Sergio show. So, let's begin. So when I started making animated cartoons, especially the Sergio show, I would make artwork out of pencil and paper, and obviously even though this is digital animation, and when I'm done I would save them in folders and now binders, and now I think it's a good time to show you in a series of videos of my animated work. And we're going to look at the early era of the Sergio show. I think this could be from maybe even before when the show came out, 2008 to maybe 2012, 2013, but we'll see. We're going to look through this and we'll see. Alright. Art of the Sergio show, the early years. Now when I started the show, believe it or not, I didn't really know what I was going to do with the show. I just made drawings and see what the show could look like. Now the very first thing you see here is actually... So the first artwork you see is the Sergio show, the first opening sign. Obviously it's off from what you actually see in the first season of the show. So what I would do is I would scan it and edit it a little bit to refine it, and would be the Sergio show title from season 1. And in here there's something else. Not this. Well, I'll show you now. Now you see this? This is also the title of the show in the first season from the left and right corners of the show. I would also scan this in and edit it so there's like 2 on each side, and it's just the background for the first season of the show. Later on it would be redesigned to this, especially by season 2 of course. So that's where I put the little areas of the original artwork title for the show. Now, as what we're going to go through later, I never wrote full scripts or storyboards completely, but I've experimented with some storyboards over the years. Let's see, this should be from possibly episode 3. Yeah, this is storyboards from episode 3 of the show. Yep, me dealing with homework. I was at an art store and I was trying to look at fun ways to storyboard. And this was, I thought, the best way to buy this notebook for a while. And I wrote, episode 3. Now, storyboards, if you don't know, they are just really like simple drawings that's supposed to display the story, and under or around it supposed to also have the lines of dialogue of the script and the characters. Now these other parts, let me look through these. Yeah, this is episode 4. Yeah. So yeah, some episodes of season 1 were drawn in this storyboard note sketch notebook. But over time I was like, okay, let me just draw scripts. I don't really need storyboards because I'm just working on the show for myself and I can imagine it first and foremost. So a lot of the time I don't need to storyboard. Some rare occasions, depends on the episode. But for the most part, I either write it or improvise it now. Mostly improvise. Ooh, this is one of the first model sheets. This could be from... This wasn't a model sheet for the show. I just wanted to draw like a nice Sergio head model sheet. Let me just turn the light off briefly to show this better. Later on, I'm going to show you better model sheets of the Sergio character in the show. Oh, this is a nice one. This is a nice one. Before the show came out, I did draw some promotions for the show, even though I never really actually promoted it for anything. I never uploaded this to any social media at the time or anything. I just drew it for myself. And this is one of them. The Sergio Show, coming soon. A show that will change cartoons forever. And it did. Not really. Now, what you're seeing here is one of the early drawings of Sergio, my character, where there was one point where the glasses were a little bit more oval shaped, because that was also my original glasses, even to this day. It wouldn't be the round ring glasses that you see now, but before starting the show, I did do some different kinds of drawings and animation test before I got to the show. And still trying to figure out the software that I just got the time, Toon Boom Studio version 3.5. There's some promotional art for episode 100. Here's also another little promotional art for the show. This one too. The Sergio Show, coming soon. Another early drawing of Sergio. This is an interesting one. This is a very special one. Now, back in about, 2006, I was doodling, I was drawing this nerdy character here. And I liked drawing this character so much when I drew him, that I drew him a couple more times. And I liked the design so much that, let me see here. Yep. I drew him a couple more times. I refined him until it became pretty much a cartoon version of me. Because I just love drawing that kind of nerdy, simplistic design. I just wanted to refine him more to look like me. So one of the big changes I ultimately changed was the rim of the glasses, but more importantly, the nose. I wanted the nose to look closer to mine than a typical cartoon C-shaped nose. So yeah. So this is very special. This is 2006 drawings of a character that would be me. Couple of drawings of me. Oh, this is a nice one. Now, you see, this is very familiar to the phone call scene in the first episode of the show. But when I was drawing this Sergio character, before he had his own show, he had a series of comic strips. We're going to get to those comic strips later on in the look-through. But before he had his own show, he had a little bit of a series of comic strips. And we're going to see them right now. This is one of them. And this is also one of the early designs of the Juan character from the show, until he's more refined to the Juan we're going to see later. This is one of the scripts for the first episode of the... This here is one of the pieces of the script from the first episode of the show, because a portion of the first episode of the show was improvised, but there were moments where I did get stuck and I needed more segments, so I did write some things out in a script. And this is one of the examples. Early drawings of my sister. This is also one of the scripts for the first episode of the show. Yeah, I've handwritten all this. Yeah, when it comes to me writing scripts and storyboards, I have a lot of different ones that we'll see in later videos on. But, this is one of them. One of the earliest ones. Until later I would do storyboards like this, and then scripts and notebooks and improv, and storyboards back and forth. But, yeah. That kind of pre-production has always been drastically all over the place. This is from episode 7, where I was falling off a cliff. I had a tablet at the time, but I wanted to use Toon Boom Studios' method of just drawing on paper scanning it in and bringing it into the software, because it was obviously really difficult and awkward to draw using a tablet with no screen, one hand in one side, you looking at the screen. It's been like that for a long time. So there are times where I would draw and just scan it in. This is an artwork for the show. I don't think it was in the official episode. I don't remember, but here's this. This one's interesting. Yes. This is also from episode 7. Now, this is also from episode 7. I just got crushed flat. I was flat. When I got to that scene, I was like, I want him to look flat. And when he reflates himself, I want it to be a little bit more hand-drawn. And that was like my early attempts in hand-drawn in Toon Boom. But I didn't want to use a tablet, so I just used tracing paper, made these series of little drawings. This side and the other side. So yeah, with this one, when I was saving this, it wasn't like a little flip book and these little flimsy pieces of paper just stapled together. And I was like, no, let me just properly display them. So I did cut these out each and just paste them onto one paper. Hopefully you get an idea what I did. I remember lining these up in Toon Boom, each frame at a time. But it looked nice. It came out together really well. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. One of my first attempts at hand-drawn animation in Toon Boom for the show. This one was for a walk cycle that never really went anywhere. That was also for a jaw drop animation that didn't go anywhere, but I made it and it's saved in Toon Boom, so maybe I'll use it someday for an episode. We are not sure. This is also drawings for an episode that never came out. There's also some art for the show that never really became official. Like this walk cycle. I was practicing walk cycles and animating walks in hand-drawn animation with some animation books that showed how to do a walk cycle, so I just put my character in those similar poses. Yeah. Me hitting myself with a hammer. Me dancing. Me just doing a wave. This one. A segment within season 1 called Sergio Tunes, where I introduce some characters that are mine. We also have animation news. This is from episode 9, where I was traveling to the cartoons of the 1900s, and I brought a clown with me by accident. I had to fix that. Alright, so here we are. We're at season 2 of the show, and I was like, okay, I don't want it to be that simplistic background thing for a while. So I want it to be more talk show looking, so in episode 12 and onward, it would be a talk show set, and this is one of the rough early drawings of it. I want it to be a town backdrop like you see in talk shows. A town backdrop with the sign, and I wanted the cartoon furniture here and a simple desk. Yeah, one of the first rough drawings of it. Also, the rough earliest drawing, I want to say this is the drawing I used, and then I digitally traced over these, and it would be the background of the show, where I want it to be a talk show set, but also an animation studio at the same time. And it was a couple of seasons of me figuring out the design, but it would be more refined over the seasons until the one you see right now. Also some art that never came out. I think it did. I think I posted it somewhere, maybe in a website. This one, yeah. This is one of the cartoon buildings. Now, the cartoon building back set is actually, some of them are drawn like this. I took some tracing paper, I drew it straight to marker, along with this cartoon furniture. while some of them were digitally drawn, so I don't have so that's what it was. A combination. Some of them were drawn like this, and some of them were drawn digitally. That's what I was going for with the buildings, to give it more artistic variety, and yeah, just to have fun combining two different kinds of ways you can see a drawing. Hand and digitally hand. This is for a time travel episode. Some of these I just want to display them properly for the binder, so I want to look like it's on animation paper. And yeah, this was for some couple of time travel episodes. Steamboat Sergio. This is artwork from an episode where I show you ways cartoons die. Because cartoons, they're immortal, but there are ways that they can die. Bad Business. Yeah, this was like a Bad Business segment. Because I showed different ways, and one of them was like a slideshow, which is this. Another random drawing. This is a mouth chart when I traveled back in time. When it was a classic 1920s, 1930s cartoon. In this case, 1930s, I drew this mouth chart. I think it's inspired by another mouth chart that's cartoon, classic 1930s. And I drew it like that. This is one of the time machines. For the time travel episode, I have a couple of time machine drawings like this one. Because I want every time travel episode within that era of the show to be different from each other. Because it would break every time it comes back. In some weird, random, funny way, hopefully. And this is, these are two of them. I had multiple time machines. Believe it or not. But it was fun designing time machines because it is just, time traveling is fun, especially the way to go there. Like, what device are you going to use? A lot of people like vehicles. So we got like these. Also from a time travel episode. Right here and right here. I go to a DMV and the DMV track is like that. So this is also from a classic cartoon car from that episode. I know with a show like mine, you think, oh, I just made one drawing of Sergio and just use cutout animation, puppet animation, and just let the computer do the rest. As much as I did rely on that, and I still do, I still want to have cartoon element to it, hand-drawnness to it. So that's why some characters are drawn still on paper. Like this Halloween episode, I did draw this, and I think I overdrew it digitally with a tablet, and yeah, this is one of the drawings for that episode. And yeah, I still want to have a level of cartooniness to it in terms of design, because hand drawing an episode, especially at the time, would have been painful and very difficult and technically impossible and insane, honestly. Would be really tough for me. So I still want to imply a lot of drawings and elements of cartooniness to the show. This is Gummy Toon episode 16. One of the early drawings for a certain character, a certain cartoon piggy. Yeah, I drew Hammond back in college, and Neil liked the character. My college friend, who's still my good friend Neil, liked this character, and he said I should put that pig character on the show. And I said, yeah, if you voice him. And he did, and that's how Hammond came to be. This is one of the early drawings of the character. Now this one, it's the cartoon couch. At some point I wanted to change the couches. I want to do another redesign of the set. And I did do some pencil drawings of the cartoon couch, and this is the final one. Behind here is some different variety, different kinds. This one, and this one's also pretty nice. This one's nice. Ultimately, I went with this one. I think I took away the bow tie. Yeah, I took away the bow tie and just focused on the three well-known things about animation. And drawn digital and stop motion. But I like the cute little face here, so that was the final one. But I wanted to show not only be a cartoon couch, but have more animation theme to it. Yeah, this is a final version of the second couch chair thingy. Yeah, there we go. For the show. Yeah, these were digitally redrawn. This is one of them. Yeah. When I draw, as you can see, I draw on different kinds of paper. Sketchbook paper, very cheap sketchbook paper, expensive sketchbook paper, cheap tracing paper, cheap paper, expensive paper, obviously loose leaf notebook paper, and it all depends. Sometimes you want to draw professionally by drawing on proper equipment and materials, but sometimes you just want to doodle wherever you want. All right. This card you see here, let me show you. Now, when I did the first 10 seasons of the show, when it was in its original form, when I would finish a season, I would take all 10 episodes of the show, put each of them in order in the editing software, and find out the complete runtime of the whole episode. So as you can see, if you back to back the first 10 episodes of the show in order and see how much the runtime it was like 1 hour, 41 minutes, 9 seconds, and 71 frames. You know, that was the math from season 1 through 9 and the total runtime hours. But that was back when it was in its original form, not the re-edited ones. That I don't know. Yep. As you can see, I was like interested. I was like, oh, the first 5 seasons. I wonder what would be the runtime like. And that was the thing I was doing at the time. Now you can kind of see the runtime of all the seasons of the show because I put them into compilations and they're available on this channel. These are early drawings right here. Some of these are just fun doodles and promotional drawings. They were never for the show, but, you know, concept drawings, really. And just fun doodles. Yeah, these are like, you know, printer paper and all that stuff. I just drew a chair. What would it be like with me with long hair for an episode later on? Alright, now here's what I was talking about. Before the show was officially an animated series, it was a comic strip series. In 2007 for a while. Before I was like, okay, time to turn it into a show. I had the animation software, but I didn't understand it for a while. Took a break from it, made comic strips, and tried to find other ways to make animation. And then I realized, okay, now I can do the show. I'm ready. I think these comic strips you can actually see online and Tumblr. My Tumblr account, if that's still there. Alright, we're in this section of the binder. We have... Okay, this is the section of the binder where we have our character layouts and all that stuff. Now, this one was for later on. I'm like, okay, I need a turnaround of this character. It looks like Fran back inside. So I did take the puppets of these characters, line them up, export them into an image file, and print them out. This is also like a little color sample. I also want to print them individually. This is also mouth charts. For a while, these mouths, the oomph and s, were never part of the original mouths, including this one. But later on, I'm like, okay, I need the character's mouth to articulate a lot more. So I drew these, and when I would do lip sync, I would focus on these mouths whenever it gets to it, because Toon Boom won't know. It measured lip syncs in a different way when you automatically use the lip sync feature. For some of you who don't know, including this mouth too, you know. This is like a nice, fun drawing version of this, because I've seen at this around that time. I think this was like 4 or 5 years ago, where cartoon characters would appear in artwork and merchandise and fan art of them in like sketchbook drawing form, you know, with roughs and guidelines and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to do that with my character too. You know, people still do it, but I remember that was a thing, especially like merchandise of it. Popular characters would be on merchandise with rough outlines, which, you know, that's nice. It is really cool. It would have, you know, characteristics and features. And I wanted to do that. And here it is. This is my sister Marilyn at One Design. That's the digital final design. That's also my sister. Final design and digital design. Rough paper design and finalized design digitally. A character from the show, AARX. Drawn design, final design, my mom. Drawn and final, my dad. Drawn and final. Now this is my sister Lydia, who was in the early years of the show. I tried drawing her multiple times because, as you can see, she was one of the characters that had the most drastic and repeated designs, other than my other sister. My uncle. Yeah, one of the ways I try to make a new character puppet-wise was draw the character in paper, then take some tracing paper and draw each piece separately. Then scan it into Toon Boom, and then I had to put them back together with drawing layers and pegs and all that stuff. It's kind of easier to make one solid drawing and then have to digitally cut them up in Toon Boom. I remember when I did that, that was frustrating. Making a puppet rig from scratch like that it takes a long time. It takes like over an hour. But it's worth it because you'll have the character on hand and reusable as many times as you want. This rough early drawings of my grandma. So this is a drawing of my uncle, and this is the drawing elements that would later be scanned into Toon Boom when I would have to turn them into a riggable, animatable character. So that was one way where I did do like a drawing of him, trace it over, scan it into Toon Boom, and then set it up in its own layer and rig it and all that stuff. That was one of the ways. It always takes a long time, but it's always worth it because you had that one character that you can animate as many times as you want. early drawings of my grandma. Neil! I was with him when I was designing him. He made suggestions like the hair, and I think it was the hair, but obviously, especially the jacket, he was involved with the design of that. And he approved it, he liked it, and he became a character of the show, and later we would redesign him, but that was an early drawing of him. Okay, when I got to the part of the show where I did a tour of what my studio looked like and my workplace, I did do some rough drawings, and they were literally later on be digitally redrawn. This is one of them. Yeah, this is all art for episode 111 of the Sergio show, where the Sergio character goes through a tour through his own studio. A lot of these are like pen drawings. These are signs of the rooms. These here are like figurines for the workplace desk. That's, I think, a key pose for a little hand-drawn effect for the episode. This drawing was the best. Yeah, storyboard room, recording studio, and a little office desk. Alright, yes, around 2014 I was like, okay, I want to make more episodes of the show, but I also want to expand the Toon City area. So I did make some drawings that are just like places in Toon City that I haven't gotten to. That I want to go through, and I was like, oh, there hasn't been a movie theater yet. So let me draw a movie theater, which would later become the movie theater episodes. Rough sketching is fun. Uppity Guess had a couple of different drawings, and I was holding it off for a long time until I did a tour episode. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Good time to use this. So, Uppity Guess is funny. But if you're a sentient gas station, how would you feel? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of dangerous, a gas station. So, have him be panicky. Have high anxiety. So. Ooh, the casino. I love casinos. So I did draw a casino, and I want to do it in graph paper because it'd be funny. I want it to be nice and blank for a bank. Very, basic. So yeah, a bank. And I'd be like, yeah, boring because I'm a bank. a nice, like, fun concept art exterior of Toon City for later on, I think, in the series. Just for the fun of it. Since everything is a cartoon with different cartoon styles all over the place. That was a fun doodle. This should be a list. Oh yeah, this is for Hendrik and Mr. Puppety. Is it? Yep. Hendrik and Mr. Puppety. But that's actually a story for another time. I do want to do a video where we look through my cartoons. Not the Sergio show, but my other cartoons. But we'll get to that. Hendrik and Mr. Puppety. Some early drawings of them. Juan. Random drawing of Juan. Oh yeah, this was just a fun drawing. I always want to see this in a t-shirt. Life stinks because you're adding the stink. Let me have a good view of that. Alright, these are the later years of the show. With this one, let me see if I can show this to you properly. Now, in 2019 to even this year, next year, I decided to mark when I would start production of a show and finish. So this is when I started this episode and I finished. The ones highlighted was, the time I spent on the show. So July 2019, but August, September, October. So yeah. The ones highlighted in blue with pencils and lines, it would say when I did the show and for what amount of time. When I started production, when I ended, and the days I actually did the show. I also would schedule when I would upload too. Yep. Ooh, this one. Alright, when I was doing Evil Sergio returning after season 11, I wanted to come back in a very 90s way. And remember those toys where you get to, take a liquid, put it in a mold, and after a light bulb, it would become its own, like, toy? Like, gooey, gross toy that we had back in the 90s. And I was like, I want Evil Sergio to come back in a very 90s way. And put him through those, toys. Where you get to make your own characters and with goo and light bulb and heat it in the oven and all that stuff. So that's what this was about. This one character that just existed to die so I can bring Evil Sergio back. His lair, which would later be Evil Sergio's lair. Yeah, for that episode I was like, let me just take some drawings and have fun. This is from this is what happens when you make drawings for a show and it's all random drawings and random paper specifically. It is hard to catalog them, but I figured out with these kinds of plastic container things. Yeah, you got them right here displayed properly. This is also for an episode. This is, I think, all of it's all post 100. For sure post 100. This is dialogue. Yes, what you see here is from episode 120, where I meet my cartoon self. This is a little bit of a script. Not the whole script, just part of a script. Mostly when I was talking to myself in cartoon form. Live action me talking to cartoon me. The pose I would go through the portal, me talking to myself. And yeah, that was a fun episode. And episode 220 is even more fun. Kinda, hopefully. This is a drawing I did for one of the intros. Yeah, I had to redraw this because there were multiple takes with the intro where I was just drawing myself and it would cut to it. So these are different Sergios that didn't look good, or I messed up the shot when I was drawing it out. So that's what this is. Just rejected and retakes of the Sergio drawing for an episode Not even for an episode, an introduction for an episode of the show. This here, I still didn't have a Cintiq, but I still wanted to also do outline drawings. This is for the reverse episode, the first one, where I was being tortured by the reverse lord, and I was just being messed around a lot. In this one, I want to cut to different poses of me. And this is early drawings of the reverse lord, but I simplified them, yeah. And I was also trying to sketch out what's going to happen in the episode, in the reverse episode. Let's see. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this one and this one and this one, this one. Sometimes when I list a montage or think of jokes, I would either outline them, write them out in an outline, or sketch them out visually. Or a lot of times I would do both, because I still want to visually know some things, but not fully storyboarded or drawn elaborately. Because it eventually will be drawn elaborately when I get to production. Because it is just a one-man team for the most part when it comes to doing the show. This is a Halloween store episode. We're going inside Halloween. At this point, I was like, okay, let me get some solid paper, especially when I want to, scan these in. So a lot of you've seen it were just scanned in. This one's rough. This was just me just setting it up. Yep, this one was just a drawn setup, but here's the background of it. And let's see. Back in 2017. I was like, let me also draw myself in different costumes design. So I got Mia's. Let me see if I can show this to you. Alright, Mia's pirate. Mia's a wizard. Rough drawing of the Halloween store. Censored because of copyright reasons. This was trying to drawing an atmosphere for costumes for the Halloween store. This costume, Halloween monster. Me as a simple superhero. Me as myself. I don't know if anyone got that. And like a cheap version of the epic animation suit. This is for episode 138. Yeah. They had a lot of like graphics and visuals. And this is like most of them. Ooh, this Christmas episode, I was drawing Santa Claus Workshop and all that good stuff. The Santa Claus Workshop, part of his lair, also part of his lair. Oh yeah, that was a fun episode. Just nuts. I was drawing his elf background characters, and let's see. Yep. Since it had a fight scene, I did draw a little storyboard of the fight scene. Look at these thumbnail sketches. And that was the idea for that one. Alright, this one. Sergio the Hippo, when I drew this, I did draw out some rough sketches too of what this could look like. That's for a stop motion special. Yeah, these two are for stop motion special. And these two are for animal episode. Rough conceptual art. Alright, these 115. What is this one? And the other ones. These must be scripts. Let's see. Yep. Scripts and some doodles. I had this notebook and I was just drawing doodles for the show. Yeah, for the reindeer. And also some little cartoon doodles. This is for the Christmas episode. This is also storyboards for the Christmas special, episode 115. So this was a case where I did have to use a storyboard, but it was like simple thumbnail drawings on a notebook that I wanted to just finish using. So I do have like different notebooks, and I was like, let me just finish some by just drawing and doodling, just so they could be used. I'll give you a nice flip through if I can. This is the second story. And I'm just making food here. Third story. Oh, the third story. If you don't know, in that episode I did have like this really nice fight scene with my grandma versus a reindeer. This is like an outline of just that segment alone. That it should have been its own episode. I thought about it. But it was like, no, just have it be on the show. I already introduced her in one episode, and right after that, let's see what this character can really do. But yeah, you see? Doodles, drawings. Reindeer. There's a point where it ran out, so I just got a different, like, random notebook. And just did it, like... And boom. Yeah, keeping storyboard drawings like that is obviously really awkward and difficult, especially when you're trying to archive it like this. So, yeah, sometimes I gotta be careful. And just either make your own storyboards, draw digitally, so it won't be, this like small and thick. Alright, this is a drawing of the reindeer. The grandma versus reindeer thing. I did draw a couple reindeers and took some photo references. What it look like in the front. Originally there was going to be a stop motion segment. This one's for yeah, I had a different kind of notebook that I got in the dollar store and used it for sketching characters for that season. This is for a vending machine episode where he came back, and originally he was going to be in the show, but I pushed him for a later episode in the series. I drew like the location where the vending machine took place. But also did some doodles. Like, that pose. He's also another character that was shown later on in the season. Another area of the vending machine. Another vending machine. Another vending machine room. Weapons out and everything. A little storyboard. It's a vending machine narrowing his eyes. This was a key pose where I was like, oh, bottoms up. Oh my gosh, a drawing of a door. Oh, I wanted to draw the vending machine in a different transformation. This one was a good one. Love that one. This one's nice too. Another rough. Haven't seen these in a couple of years, so it is funny to look back and be like, oh, now I remember. This one I was like, I want to go what? And have some effect to it, so I did draw it out before I did it. Destruction. Couple of framed out moments. Boom! Turning around. Yeah, that was going to happen eventually. Some drawings on post-it notes. Pew, pew, pew. This is another episode. I was like, oh no! Or I was being haunted. That was fun. Drawing of my bathroom. The Sergio Nook. These are some monsters. This is Santa Claus, one of the redesigns. I wanted to redesign Santa Claus, and that was one of the drawings. Some Christmas drawings for season 12. The reindeer that I was talking about. This is just a cartoon head. Refine the antlers a little bit later on. Try to draw one or two more realistically. And that was it for this segment. Okay, these are drawings for a re-edited episode of episode 9. I was like, okay, let me just draw these classic 1900s cartoons real quick. Simple as that. Then edit it in and that's it. I wanted to refine classic Sergio, so I did redraw a nice model of the character, which you would see later on in the series. Classic Sergio will appear a lot more in the future of the show, too. This is really tired Sergio, and his like really big final form, you know? Also have what else? Yep, this is front view, and this is a bed, the goddess of sleep, and yeah, the episode where I get tired a third time, and I'm like really tired, and I've been taken care of. I feel like I've noticed that my drawings got refined. Probably because I've been doing the show for so long, and drawing it in sketchbook paper is better than drawing on like random sheets. Promotional art for episode 150. The show was also turning 10 years old at the time. So we got this. Yeah. I do like drawing promotional art for the show, especially milestone episodes. I have some for episode 100, 150, and 200. But we'll get to those later. I always love that thing where half of my head pops up. Trying to show these as best as possible. Have an animated day. Just some rough Sergio head drawings. Me in a suit, dancing. Sometimes I like to draw myself dancing in a suit and stuff. This is a funny one that I never really got to use for the show, but kept it in archives. This is probably drawings for season 15. This is one for one episode from season 15. I wanted to be like a drawing, so did that effect. Rough drawing of a monster, and oh yeah, that's also from the same episode or so. I just needed, when I was drawing the character in the angle, I was like, let me redraw this. This one, oh, look at all these drawings. I think this is all also from season 16 or so. But, you know, this is Animal Toon City. I'm just going to do a nice, like, flip through. Well, not flip through, but I'm going to show you a nice, like, pass through of these drawings. Animal Toon City sign. Professor Monkeys. Parts of Animal Toon City. When I was doing the Animal Toon City, I was like, okay, I want it to be cartoon buildings, but a little bit more nature themed, you know? So this is the results. I wanted one to be like a waterfall. Omnivore, okay. Oh yeah, I drew a little bit of head animation for Sergio the Hippo eating. That was fun. Yeah, that was a fun week of production of that episode. Leaf balls. Oh, I ripped this by mistake, but I fixed it. Leaf balls. Also some cartoon birds and animal citizens for the show. Oh, I'm a bull bear and I'm late for work. Here we go, the human. Yeah, I wanted to draw a weird looking human character for, what the episode's about. So, a couple of drawings and I got to this. And I think that's a finalized version. I like that drawing of the giraffe. Some of these do get a little bit cleaned up a little bit because when I draw them in ink, marker and stuff, it seeps in and sometimes I have to fix it digitally. I hope you like these drawings in this form of production. This is, I think, some fun of drawing with this one. Let's take a look. Somebody touched the Sergio show. That's what I was referencing. Yeah, the Sergio show promotional and doodles, concept art. Yeah. That's it with these. Almost done. Almost done. This is a storyboard, and let me see what this is. Oh, for episode 143. Oh yeah, this was for a big episode coming up. And I had this some random different prints and copies of storyboard paper, and I was looking through if I just want to finish them, use them for something, and I used these extra copies for this. I'm like, yeah, for this episode, for fun, why not? That's for a different project, for a later time. think here is just some drawings of the show. Fun doodles and drawings. Oh my god, this drawing's amazing! I like this. Yee! Yeah, I was testing some view and point of view and shot, and when I did these drawings, that one's a fun doodle. I was like, yeah. Ah, I'm flying. Foop. That one's fun. And ta-da! Ha ha ha. Yeah, but I got a couple more to show. Give me a second. These two, I'll show them real quick and we'll finish it. At least this segment, this little video. This is for episode 128 for rough animation test. And yes, I knew what this was. It's already done, and you can see it in the episode, but I'll give you a nice flip through. In the episode, my robot assistant learns how to animate, and he draws this, but it's actually me, and I just took a picture of it and put it in Toon Boom and played it, and it's like this. Yeah, it's okay if the flip through wasn't good because it's already like finalized and shown better in the episode. And also its own little video in this channel. And lastly, for me, I think, episode 144, storyboard. Oh, this one. It was that episode where there was fight scenes and it was end up being a two-parter. And for sure it needed to be storyboarded. And yeah, it needed to be storyboarded. And because it had a lot of action and stuff. So I just got, again, an available notebook and just drew the frames. So in this case, it was like, each one was like that. So, I'm going to do a flip through because these are all obviously thumbnail drawings to an episode that's already done and more fully realized. And these were all thumbnail drawings. Remember, this was, as you can see, starts date like in a day, but I was like, let me just get all this out of my head. The action scene and the ideas and just these little thumbnail doodles, and that's it. Yep. And that will do for now. Well, that's all for this art look through of the Sergio show. By the looks of it, I've shown you like the first 10 years of the show, but you see how my art and drawings and the way I draw and animate has changed over the years, as you can see. And I tried best to just save them, and that's the best I could do, and try to show you as the best as possible. Now, obviously, this is not it. I actually have a lot more drawings for the show. Later on, I was like, okay, let me draw these in proper books instead of just loose paper, because archiving them is a pain, as you can see. So I would later put the show in sketchbooks, like really good quality sketchbooks for drawings for later in the show and later seasons. But those are going to be in their own videos, each of them, for another time. And I also have The Art of Sergio Studios, which is just artwork from my Sergio Studios cartoons, other cartoons that aren't the Sergio show, artwork also that I've archived and saved, and I would love to show you. But, you know, those are also going to get their own videos. I just want to do the first one being The Art of the Sergio Show. At least the first 10 years. Then after that, it'll give you a couple more art look through seasons of the show later on. And we'll see about that. So anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some nice little insight of the show and how I make cartoons over the years. And this won't be the last of it. I have more Sergio Show artwork later on to show you, and other cartoons. So, again, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or anything down below, just thank you again. I just hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'm Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.